Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.
3, 2, 1. You guys were in sync on mine.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
That was awesome.
Nailed it.
I just am still laughing at the first episode where you were like, all right, let's clap. And I was like, I start doing like a round of applause for what?
You were very happy.
Like, I'm ready. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Potted Together podcast. I'm Becca, and I am joined with my co-hosts Adam and Nicole.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. It has been a bit since we've recorded. We took a week off last week, so we have a lot to catch up on. A lot in the world has changed. At the point that we're recording this, we had Inauguration Day yesterday, so that's a big, happy, fun, hopeful day. Yeah, I think we're all kind of still like on a high after that. It was really just a beautiful day in the United States,
Yes.
for a lot of reasons. But I think a new Inauguration Day is just like a fun day in the U.S. in general, right? So it just felt really good specifically for what's been happening. But anyway, I want to know what's been going on with your guys' weeks because we haven't done a ton of chatting.
Yeah.
And I want to know what's been going on, what's new, Seuss new.
Who wants to go? Who wants to go first?
Have you read that Dr. Seuss book?
No.
No. Wait, there's a Dr. Seuss book I don't know of?
I think it's called Who Are You, Seuss New or something like that.
Who Are You, Seuss New?
Nope.
Oh, this is definitely a thing. I'm Googling it right now. Oh, it's not by... Okay, hold on. It is not by Dr. Seuss.
Okay, in my defense.
We love a live
It's
fact
by-
check.
Tish Rabe and Will Ryan. Is that Dr. Seuss? It has 100% Dr. Seuss branding. Cat in the Hat is on it.
Oh.
So anyway, great story about this girl deciding what she wants to be when she grows up. And it was one of my favorite books as a child. Okay, this is so pointless. Tell me how your week
It's
was.
not pointless at all. I can go first since we can get the sadness out of the way.
Oh.
But yeah, my dog passed away over this last weekend, and I've been doing better, but it's been rough. And I had a friend come visit me. So one, I'm really glad she was here during that whole thing. But then two, I was really upset that she was here because I just feel like it took away the whole weekend. But my dog's been in my life since 2012, and he was diagnosed with like a really rare genetic disorder that was slowly paralyzing his legs. And
What was it called?
I think the technical term for it is, it sounds awful, but it was called dying back myasthenia.
Okay.
And I don't really know how to relate it to like, I mean, to me, it felt a lot like ALS, where it was just like his nerve cell responders weren't firing to his nerves. And so it was just causing him to slowly lose. I mean, he's from when I had him as a puppy, he was always like the clunkiest, like flopped around. Like when he ran, he was uncoordinated. And then when I finally had a diagnosis done at the University of Illinois, I took him in for a nerve cell biopsy, and they gave me the news, and that was really heartbreaking. But he's been strong and stayed happy. You both had met him when he was still like unable to walk. But, you know, I had a harness for him and just loved him. But yeah, it was fast. Like, you know, and I said this on my Instagram post, but people always say, you know, when they're ready. And I couldn't ever understand that because I mean, I just repeated it because I was like, I think I'll know. But I was like, how the hell am I going to know? Well, I knew. Like, I knew Friday when I got home. And I'm glad it was quick because he was eating and drinking just like normal. And then it just like went south. So Friday night he laid in bed with us, and then he went to the bathroom without even moving. And that's just something he's never done. And so it was just probably too many details, but yeah, it was tough, and I'm grateful that the vet was so kind and they let us be in there because I was really scared that they weren't going to. And
with COVID, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because they're very restricted, and it was peaceful. So that, I don't know. I feel like I can talk about it now without crying, but I've been sobbing for I feel like the past 4 or 5 days. And it's still hard to like see his stuff around the house, and it's hard for me to like clean that up too. But yeah, it was rough. But I'm glad he's no longer suffering, and I'm glad that he's at peace, and
and that you had such a clear, like, that definitive moment where you're like, okay, like now it's time, you know.
I laid in bed. I didn't sleep at all Friday because he was just in bed with us. And I laid in bed and I just like was hoping that he would just go in his sleep because, now I might start crying.
Oh. I'm already crying over here. That's why I'm quiet. I'm still here, you guys. I'm just a little teary.
I just didn't want to make that decision, because I think I could constantly question, like, was I right or was I wrong? And that's the hardest part of it. But the vet did an examination, and I think that they didn't even tell me about the examination. They just said, like, we just went through the process because I think that they knew that it was time. But I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to make that decision. And plus, like, taking him out of the house into the vet's office, like, I didn't want to stress him out. And so there was an at-home service that I could have called, which I didn't even know this existed. And I think that's so beautiful, to where they can just come to your home. And I think that is such a great thing. But unfortunately, like, their website said that they were closed on the weekends, and this was kind of just like an emergency situation. But him and I sat outside in the sun for a little bit and just like sat by the pool on Saturday morning, and before we went to the vet, and just kind of did all his favorite things. And then we had an appointment, which I was really scared for because I've never dealt with it before. But it was really peaceful, and they were really kind, and he was, just the best dog. Sorry, I didn't want to make you guys cry too.
Whew.
I think pets are just so special. I mean, obviously, to anyone who has pets, that the impact that they have on your lives, and Cuddy has been such a joy to me. And so he will continue to be a joy for me all the time. But yeah, that's my not so fun week.
Becca's got a robe next to her. I don't have anything.
That's what I'm laughing about. She's wiping her tears with a robe.
I fully just like can't even speak. I don't know. I mean, when you hear these things, it just takes you back to when you've experienced that and how special pets really are.
Yeah, I've been through it quite a few times. It's not an easy thing to go through, but
yeah.
Okay.
But aside from that, the inauguration was beautiful, and I was thinking, not to like switch gears so quickly, but I was thinking about how grateful, like, I'm looking at silver linings of this last administration, and how grateful I am that I actually understand some of these processes that I never paid attention to in my life. And so, like, I watched every bit of the inauguration, and I got to tell you, the poet laureate Amanda Gorman just like,
oh my gosh,
blew me away. And I didn't even know what a poet laureate was, and I've been like Googling like what is this, and it was so neat, and it was like I could breathe, like a sigh of relief for a moment.
Yeah,
that like nothing terrible happened, and that a transfer of power happened, and it's for the better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we were...
She was also the youngest.
Oh, yeah. To ever perform at an inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the world was on edge. Like I was in this state of anxiety before the inauguration, but all through it, it was like, okay, we're an hour more through it. Okay, we've gotten this part done, and then before I knew it, we were watching the like the celebration at like 8:00 at night, and I was like, okay, this actually happened, and nothing bad happened anywhere in the United States, which is very reassuring. And I feel like everybody woke up a little bit more at ease this morning, for sure. Yeah, it was beautiful. And just so many women, so many powerful women at that inauguration. It was just, our kids, our 3 daughters are homeschooling, and they had their school computer, but then they also had like a separate laptop next to them with the inauguration pulled up, because I wasn't going to let them miss it, But in a few of their classes, their teacher told them like, hey, turn this on, like right now, turn it on,
Yeah.
So it was special. I'm glad they were able to witness that and see that. And it's a good day.
It was a beautiful day. I was super emotional yesterday.
Yeah.
Which clearly carried over in today. I guess I'm fragile. I was really getting after that cry. All right. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. And like Adam said, it was so cool just to like really watch all of these things so intently and like just really care for once, because previously I didn't even think about it. It never even crossed my mind to watch these things. So it's really special to be able to. But yeah, so that was beautiful. To switch gears again, I have a very exciting thing that I wanted to say. I paid off my car this week.
You did?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good feeling. Time to get a new one.
Hell no. No. I hated this car. Well, I don't hate the car. It's just really small, which is a little bit inconvenient. But I'm sure when I have kids, I'll get the itch to really want a new car. But right now, I'm like, I'm running this car into the ground.
It's a good size if you just like take all of the junk that you have around scattered.
Wow.
Out. No, I'm just
Called
kidding.
out. Oh my God.
Blasted.
Called out. Thanks. No, kidding. I do keep things in my car,
Same.
I have some blankets in there. I've got a gas tank. I've got some shoes. I have a lot of soil in my car. It's just who I am.
You're set.
I try to keep the trash to a minimum. I clean out my car with the trash, but like I do have things that just always live in my car. But I've always been like that. But anyway, I paid off my car. I feel so good. They emailed me that they were going to send me the title. It was so cool. Whoops, did we lose connection?
A little
you
bit. You
did for a sec, but I think you're back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, it was my first really big adult purchase, and I paid all of it by myself, so it just feels really good.
Oh, that would be because you said you bought that car because your one before that died in the driveway, right? And so you had to like get a car ASAP.
Yeah, so my parents very fortunately put some money down for me to get a new car, but after that it was all me. And the down payment was pretty much what it would have costed to fix my car, my old one. So costed, did I just say that?
Costed.
Hi, I'm 12. Excuse me, I cannot move on without mentioning that, so sorry. Anyway, it would have cost the same. So we just got a new car, and it was my first like, I need to pay this other than rent,
Right.
So it just like really taught me a lot about being disciplined about your money and paying that bill, even if it means that you can't eat for a little bit.
Macaroni and cheese
college.
diet.
College was hard.
It's a big expense.
It's done.
It's a big
done.
expense. And I feel like a car is one of those things where you absolutely hate making payments on it, because the thing depreciates the second it leaves the dealership. And it keeps depreciating. So it's like you're putting this money into this car that is not even worth what you bought it for. And it's
right.
But it's a necessity for most of us. So that's a really big accomplishment, and I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. Me
Thank
too.
you.
That deserves
Yeah.
some applause.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is clap
Yes,
appropriate
it was
time,
awesome.
Becca.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, so I'm just really excited. I mean, I was able to pay it off a year early as well. I mean, thanks to De La Plants largely. I mean, I've been saving up De La Plants money to pay off
Nice.
my loans and things, and it's really just like so cool to see hard work like come to fruition.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my good news.
Intangible ways, like getting the title to a vehicle. Like that's
Yeah.
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 And
Next
not
up,
just the
student
Target run.
loans. Yeah, not just a Target run. Yeah. Next up, student loans. But I'm a little hesitant because maybe there might be some forgiveness.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah,
I'm
there might
hopeful, yet I'm like trying to balance between optimism and pessimism where I'm like, I don't know if this is actually going to happen, but if it does, my
Yeah.
life will be changed.
I feel like that's
So-
every American every 4 years. Like you have all these things you're thinking about and you're just like, well, what's going to, like, this is my favorite time. Like the inauguration's cool, but like the week to follow inauguration is like, all right, what are you signing, buddy? What you got going on there?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put too much money, like more money into your loans until we know for sure, because that's definitely
Yeah.
in the works. So
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the plans, at least 10K I'm reading. So we'll see. We'll see. I've got more than that, but I mean, that would really help. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's all for me. So should we get into the episode?
Yeah.
We do have a time constraint today.
Well,
We can't
did
talk for hours.
Nicole didn't really talk about her week. Did you?
You know, I was thinking about it when I was talking about the inauguration. Nothing really happened for me
Okay.
this week. Yeah, that was the highlight of my week for sure. So we can move on.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Awesome. So we're going to talk today about plant routines and just what we do perhaps on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, like annually basis. We're going to go, spot by spot what we do, because I think creating a plant routine is a really great way to manage a large collection. And if you don't have a routine put in place, it can feel really overwhelming and like you're kind of running around with your head cut off. As a chicken, you are now a chicken. So you become a chicken. I feel like that's not vegan friendly. I'm very sorry. That was not a vegan friendly joke. Perhaps I should stop saying that. But anyway, yeah. So you're just like all over the place. So we've been collecting plants for a couple of years, and I don't know if any of us really set out to have a routine, but it's kind of happened naturally, at least for me. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys do on a daily basis with your plants. Let's start with daily.
I check my plants daily. Like every single morning I'll have my coffee and then I'll just check my plants. I think it's important to just kind of like look through your leaves, make sure nothing new's happening, because I cannot even tell you how many times I found mealybugs literally the next day after checking my plants. Some maybe they went a little bit longer than the next day, but that's what I've been doing since I did find that like infestation on my on my cactus of mealybugs. And I don't know. I just feel like it's just good to kind of know what's going on with your plants. If you see some yellowing leaves, that can happen overnight. So that's pretty much all I do daily. What about you, Adam?
I would say like my routine in the mornings is I wake up and I pour myself I get some coffee. And then I kind of just like walk around and do the same thing. I look at my plants. There's a couple grow lights that I have that aren't on smart plug, so I turn those on every morning and just kind of check out the new leaves that have been growing that I just watch literally every day, and just kind of do a once over and look at things. And if things need a little bit of water or that, I'll take care of that sporadically. But yeah, I think for daily it's more just inspection, just seeing how everyone's doing and how things are moving along. If leaves aren't growing, then I'm like, okay, well, something's happening with this plant. But just more of a appreciation every morning of their beautifulness.
Yeah, I think I don't have a specific watering schedule. Like I don't have like, oh, I water every 10 days this section of plants. I don't have something like that. So I think every day I water at least 3 plants, usually. That's just how it's been as of right now. In my old house, I had it so that plants in certain zones usually needed water around the same time. And it's more or less like that. It's becoming like that right now. I think it takes a little bit of time to get that. But I usually am watering. So in the mornings, I wake up. I don't drink coffee. Never have.
Bless your soul.
Thought I would note that. I have my own energy. Thank you.
Talk to me when you have 3 children and you're 10 years older. Okay? Okay.
I don't know. Dan doesn't drink coffee either. So,
Oh, yeah, it might
but
be.
we don't have kids. So
Right.
we'll see. I do like a shot of espresso every once in a while with a little milk. But anyway. Okay.
On road trips.
Anyway, not
Been there. We saw you experience that.
when I came unglued in a truck stop. I'm never drinking fast caffeine ever again. Okay. We're referring to the time when I took a 5-hour energy drink on a road trip.
Have
and
you ever heard of butt piss?
That was the best. That was literally classic.
Oh, that was bad. So, yeah, not good. Like, I was shaking. Anyway, not the point. So, wake up, I look around and, like, see if anything, it looks droopy, because that's how I decide if a plant needs water, and I'll touch some leaves. But usually that's about all I do. I mean, sometimes, like, throughout the day, I'll get up and do that if I don't get to it right in the morning, because some days I just genuinely can't even think about it, to be honest with you. Like, there's lots of days where I'm just like, no, I can't do this today. And I'll do it at like late at night instead. But usually every day I do a check, like you guys said as well.
Mm-hmm.
Usually watering, and all the sinks in my house, there's a plant in the sink. Poor Daniel.
Yes.
Daniel's like, can you just get on a schedule, Becca?
Yeah. I need to get, like, over the summer, I want to get one of those outdoor sinks, those like
Oh.
utility sinks.
Yeah.
And I'll just use that, and I'll never bother the sink in our kitchen again until it's winter again. But I can't take them outside to water because it's frozen.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll come around. He's not used to it yet.
You'd think after 3 years he'd get used to it. But yeah, so I mean, that's daily. I mean, do you
Yeah.
guys, I mean, we're not repotting on a daily basis or anything. It's really
No.
simple. But people ask, like, how many hours do I spend on plant care a day? And I'd say a single hour, if that.
If
Some,
that.
like, less than that usually. As long as you're keeping up with it, you shouldn't have like 6 hours every day. Like,
Yeah, I feel like ever since I moved my plants to one general area in my house, it's been a lot quicker. Like, I could probably go through all of them in a good 20 minutes. But but yeah, it's never really that long. Now, on a plant chore day, though, I could spend
Yeah.
a good 3 hours with my plants.
yeah. So how often do you have those days? Is that like a weekly?
Yeah, that's what
Should
I
we
was
switch
gonna.
to weekly now?
Yeah, let's switch to weekly. For me, weekly would probably be like plant maintenance. So like chopping off any dead leaves, checking the soil, or like my cash pose that I have my leca plants in, just to make sure that we're still okay with water. And then if I have to water, I will. You know, and that's usually what I do monthly too. I feel like my weekly and monthly kind of sync up, but I'm watering and maintaining once throughout the month in there, or sometimes twice, depending on the season.
Yeah, and my weekly is pretty similar to, like, I'll flush plants that are in leca. I mean, it's not like I do this every single week for every single plant. There's a rotation.
Right.
And honestly, it's not anything scientific. It's basically just if I remember that, like, oh, I haven't flushed that leca plant in a while, then I'll grab that one. But weekly would be either topping off my leca plants with pH balanced water to give them a little water, or flushing them and rejuvenating, or whatever, the nutrient solution. Because usually, like, with leca, I try to add nutrient solution. The next week, if it needs water, I'll just add pH balanced water. And then the week after that is when I'll do a full flush, rinse out the cashpo, and then give them nutrient solution again.
Yep, it's pretty similar for me.
And then the plants that are in soil, I just kind of give the leaves a squeeze to see, to tell if they need water. And I'll just usually put them, like you said, in the sink and water them.
I was actually wondering how our schedules would differ with you guys having LECA. So weekly tasks aren't as much as monthly tasks then for you guys, because flushing's more on a monthly basis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. For me, I guess my weekly tasks are what Nicole said, checking for leaves, any dead leaves. I do like regular pest checks. Anytime I water a plant, I'll hold it up to the light because spider mites they just love me. So, which I haven't had spider mites in a very long time. It's been at least like 2 months.
Bite your tongue with that.
I'm going to walk down and find them. Oh God, if that thing had spider mites, that would suck. You guys, I just had delivered probably a 9-foot tall Monstera adansonii tree. Like, it is insane.
It's gorgeous.
There's a YouTube channel. Yeah, I have a YouTube video up on my channel where I basically vlog the day of getting that plant and doing some plant chores. But anyway, if you want to see it, go check that out. But
so pretty.
I just feel like
so
for this vlog, you need to just take it everywhere with you. Like, it should go in the bathroom with you. And then when you go to bed tonight, it should just be on your nightstand, just like...
Oh, it's like probably as tall as my ceilings up here. Like, insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
very,
gorgeous.
very exciting. But yeah, again, check out my channel. Anyway, so weekly checking for dead leaves, checking for pests. Usually on a weekly basis, I'll go and look on my greenhouse and see how things are doing, because the plants in there don't need as much attention because they have the grow lights, they have the humidity. It's not a ton of humidity like it was in my old place, but it's definitely more. And so they're a little bit more self-sufficient. And then I think on a weekly basis, I also just kind of look around and see what might need to be repotted. I check on my propagations. Usually that's when I like water them if they're in spag. Which, by the way, the Obovata Splash that you gave me, Adam.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to kill it. I was so convinced that I was going to kill it. But we're good. We're all good. I was so nervous for a little bit there, though, because I kept forgetting to moisten the spag. And it looked so thin. Like, I could see all the veins. Like, it looked deathly. And I was like, oh, no. I'm going to have to pretend like it's alive and just lie. But
No.
it's
You never
fine.
have to do that.
No, yeah, because I would just give you another cutting. And if you killed that one, then you're dead to me.
Then I'm cut off.
Dead to me.
No, it's doing a lot better. It's plumped up a lot more because it started growing roots finally, which is very good. So,
I
but
put
anyway,
mine right into LECA and it took very quickly.
oh,
This is why I love Hoya so much, because literally roots will grow out of anywhere. Like, you don't have to worry about a node. They will grow out of the cut point. They will grow out of the stem. They just grow.
Yeah.
yeah,
Continue.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's true. Yeah, no, I mean it has some roots growing along the stem, and I'm pretty stoked about it. I kept breaking them off at the beginning, and I was like, oh God, I'm so stupid. But now they're doing better. Now I am not touching the roots because I kept wanting to check, and I
Yeah.
just kept breaking them off. So yeah, I keep it by the sink now so I don't forget. Hot tip: if there's a plant that you need to monitor like every day, like, because there are certain plants that you should check every day depending on what's going on with it. If it has spider mites, if it's a new fresh propagation, put it in a place where you're looking all the time.
Yeah,
And
that's
for
a
me,
good
that's
idea.
the kitchen sink.
It's a good
Like,
idea.
Yeah, if you have windows by your sink,
On top of the toilet
bathroom.
bowl. Top of the toilet bowl, just stick it right there.
yeah, especially if you use the restroom as much as me yesterday. I don't know what was happening. Let me just tell you, they were all solid, but I was in there like 7 times. That is not an exaggeration.
It's because those Nutri-Grain
texted-
bars, fiber on point.
I texted my friend who's a paramedic, and I'm like, am I okay? And she's like, yeah, you should be fine. And I was like, okay.
You're like, but I'm so hungry. I don't know why.
So yeah, put your plants in a place where you go all the time. that really has helped my propagations. Specifically my propagations I like to check on. But okay, monthly basis? You guys
Wait.
kind of said you're monthly.
Yeah. I'm curious though on your like weekly stuff. Like what is there like a specific day that you guys find yourself, not that you have it planned in your head, but is there a specific day where you find yourself doing more plant stuff than
Oh,
you
like
do?
day of the week?
Because I kind of feel like
Mondays.
Saturday mornings I wake up and I'm just like ready to just do
Yes.
everything plant stuff related.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, it's the same thing for me. Saturdays, I don't know what it is because I don't work. Like, I'm not working right now. But, and like, neither does my husband. So, like, our schedule is literally we're just home all day doing what we're doing. But Saturday, I feel like the kids are off of school. It's got a little bit of a different feel. And it's like, okay, like, it's Saturday. Let me make coffee and like the shows on TV are different. I don't know, but it is. It's so true. It like I wake up on Saturday and I'm like, oh, it's the weekend. Let me look at my plants a little bit harder, you know? That's true. I never thought about that. till you
Yours
just
is
said
Monday,
that.
Becca. That's when you find yourself doing like most of your plant stuff.
Monday.
Monday mornings. I don't know what it is. I think the new fresh week makes me more motivated to do that.
Yeah.
But definitely on Saturdays, I don't do a lot of plant stuff. I'm usually just like chilling with my butt on the couch. But last weekend we were chopping wood. So you never know what you're going to find out.
Homesteading.
Homesteading.
You never know where you're going to find yourself in the De La Calhoun house.
I think Becca needs a homesteading channel. That's what I think.
I definitely want to make like garden content and stuff. Oh, I signed up for a gardening class with the Missouri Botanical Gardens, but then I
Oh.
forgot about it and I missed it.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, it was an online class, but they sent like all the brochures and everything they gave out. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I guess I can fill in the blanks here, figure out what they said. But yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I totally forgot. But Botanical Gardens do online classes right now. So if you're interested in taking some plant classes, I think it was like $15. So I just wasted $15, but don't do what I did. Put it on your calendar.
I mean, well, technically you didn't waste it because you got the pamphlets. So
Yeah.
That's
you
true,
can look
but
at the pictures.
yeah, I can look at the pics. Yeah, but yeah, Monday just feels like a good day for me to just like get my life together. Usually Monday mornings, I like clean my house and do a bunch of plant stuff. Usually it's watering is heavy. Like it's usually a heavy watering day on Mondays. But I don't randomly repot plants. That's something that I wanted to say. I usually store up plants that need to be repotted and then I'll do that like once a month.
Yeah, I feel like I do that too. But it's probably not as frequent as once a month. And that's probably because the only thing I really have in soil, well, a majority of my plants that are in soil are cactus or like euphorbia. So they don't have to be repotted that frequently. But what about yearly? Like, what do you guys find yourself doing yearly? Like fertilizing?
I fertilize like every other month probably in the growing season.
Like summer? Well, yeah, it's different for you now. So you got to kind of like...
Yeah. In Tucson, I would fertilize year round every other month pretty much.
Would you really all year? Wow.
Yeah, but now I have to be mindful that it's not growing season for sure. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start fertilizing in March. And I'll do that every other month, probably until like October.
I usually find myself fertilizing like April and then again like middle of the summer and then checking my plants because I repot in the fall, which I guess that's not really a good time. Well, I don't really follow a repotting schedule either, but I find a lot of my plants that were outside for the summer have to be repotted before I bring them in. One, it like takes care of pests, because I can see what's in there. And two, they've grown so much that they need to be repotted. So I'm usually giving them fresh soil anyway, so I don't necessarily fertilize at that time. What are you doing? Is your jaw popping?
It's cracking. I just want to know if Adam will hear it later. Giving you a little nugget of a surprise.
you just look like a fish that's trying to breathe outside of water.
Is your thing on your screen, like your volume going up when you do it?
There is like one little crack. I really hope you can hear it. Okay, if the camera wasn't on, see, this is, I got distracted because my jaw cracked and I wanted to see if it would show up on my sound wave, just not even thinking about the fact that you guys could see me. And now I've derailed the conversation.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when fertilizer for me, I water every time with Super Thrive, regardless of time of year. I always just give plants Super Thrive, but fertilizer is more of like one I remember, but I don't have that many plants in soil, so like,
yeah.
The few I do, I try to remember to fertilize, but I'm not great at it. I'm so bad with like schedules and stuff. It's just like when I think about it.
But I also feel like we all know our plants well enough now to not have to like be on that strict schedule and know our plants enough to know like, okay, this plant needs to be repotted. Like there's just something about it. It's like you remember when you got that plant, you remember what soil is in that plant, you remember when you repotted it and the last time you watered it. Even like whether you have 10 plants or 150, I feel like you just know,
Yeah, for
know.
sure. I agree. The thing about Super Thrive though, I've put Super Thrive in my like propagation water before and it made the water like nasty.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use like, you're not supposed to use that much though. I'm saying this as if you don't know that.
I mix it up in a gallon jug and it will make, like if you put anything in a clear vessel, regardless of what you put in there, things will happen. Like algae will grow or stuff because the sun will start interacting with molecules inside the water. But if you had like an amber glass or that kind of stuff where sun doesn't really go through it very much, and you will see that less and less. But yes, my propagations always have like a film. There's always like some kind of like, it's like a film around the roots. But I also change out the water weekly with those. I rinse off.
Another weekly.
Oh yeah. So I pull the things out, rinse them off, rinse the roots off, rinse out the glass, and then I will refresh it. It's water, Super Thrive water. Honestly, I've had great success with Super Thrive water propagating, all that jazz. I mean, all of my propagations, regardless of what medium I'm using, Super Thrive is used in one way or another.
I started using it because I saw you use it, but I only got like the little bottle of it and I recently ran out. Like, and when I say recently, I mean like October. So I need to get some more, but I did find it was working for my propagations and for my plants in leca. Like I'll add a little bit to the water like when I top it off. What's something else that you guys do like yearly? Like, can you think of something that you would just do once every year? I can't.
The year before last year, at the beginning of the year, I put all of my plants in the bathtub and I washed them down with neem oil.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just in case like any of them had a pest, I just like gave them a really good solid wash. But I feel like that should be like every quarter.
Yeah.
Like every year, I don't think there's anything that I do every year, but I feel like that should be done like every quarter. You just like wash your plants in the shower and scrub them just in case, and like hopefully you're looking at your plants for pests before then, but if you're not, like that would be a good way to catch some things if not. But I don't know how effective it was for me because that was the year that I had the worst spider mite infestation of my life, so I don't think that really worked. It was just like a nice thought.
They were sparkly. They were clean.
I've seen so many like opinions online that neem oil is just basically useless,
Really?
Yes, I've heard that too
I don't know
recently.
how you two feel about that, but like they say like as far as pest control when you have an outbreak of pests, it's pointless. Like
I can't use it because the smell, literally it's the only thing that makes me nauseous. Like I can't smell it.
Oh, I don't have that issue.
Cannot smell it.
It's
but
bad.
as far as like if your plants are treated with neem oil and when they don't have pests, like I think that would deter a pest from like thinking that it was a suitable host. But I've just seen a lot of people, a lot of like botanists say that it's just like this gimmick that's been widely spread of misinformation. But again, I don't know. I use it as like to clean my leaves. Like I'll use it to like with a microfiber cloth to wipe down the leaves, but I don't like douse my plants in it.
Yeah, I can't do it. Oh, I don't know what
No.
is in it that smells so terrible, but I literally can't even stomach it.
Yeah, the pesticide that I use the most is 8, honestly. But wait, did you guys see that Gretchen said that what's that one that everyone loves? It's the dude. It's the guy.
Is it the Captain Jack's?
Captain Jack's.
Yeah, Captain Jack. There he is. She said that she wouldn't suggest using Captain Jack on houseplants because the bottle doesn't suggest to use it on houseplants. Because she's like a stickler on reading the labels and stuff, which I love about her. But when I saw that she said that, I was like, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's mainly used for outdoor plants. But I've used outdoor pesticides things on indoor plants and it worked just fine before.
Look, like
So-
we know that I love me, Gretchen. I adore her. But so Captain Jack's, like, which is what I use a lot. Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew has spinosad in it, and it's this bacteria that's created to like. It is a pest management, but it's an all natural bacteria. But you're not allowed to use it in some states. Like some states can't even sell spinosad because it will mess with pollinators, like bees and all of that stuff. So it's a little. I mean, I agree. Like I will always defer to Gretchen on this stuff because she works in a greenhouse. She knows, and she is a stickler for reading the labels, which maybe we all should be. But the safety data sheets, she always reads the SDSs, which tells you like, you know, should it go down your drain, that kind of stuff. But it seems like if spinosad is illegal to use in some states, like I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know. I use it for my house plants, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only thing that worked for spider mites for me, like quickly.
Didn't you use
Yeah.
it for thrips
And
too?
thrip, yeah.
Or thrip, yeah.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw that because so many people recommend it for houseplants.
Yeah.
And like it works for you, Adam. So I mean, if it works, it works. I had people at Mesquite Valley Growers in Tucson suggest me using this one that's for outdoor. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm alone.
Can you
You're
hear
not.
us?
Can you hear us?
me? You both just left.
I can hear
Can
you.
you? Can you hear
Can you
us?
hear me that whole? Can you hear me that whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, I'm alone.
I'm all alone. And you didn't even freeze.
I'm dead, and like nothing changed for you guys. It's just all of a sudden I'm like, I'm alone. No, you guys both like went away. Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, whatever works, I guess. I don't know, but I think it is important
Wait,
to read
you need to
those
finish.
labels,
You need to
which-
finish that. So you went to Mesquite and they tried to sell you something for outdoor use.
Oh yeah, I asked them like, what would you suggest for spider mites? Because I was desperate at this point, and yeah, they suggested this thing. It's called like Rose and Flower or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know who it's by. But it worked. So I'm like, okay. I mean, it worked pretty much effectively as 8 does. 8 by Bonide. So, I mean, like, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever works, I guess. But, yeah, if we have a pest, it's usually like a full 6-day situation. Sometimes people will message me and, like, the plant clearly has a pest. And I'm like, oh, God. Like, well,
Sorry.
here's what you have to do. Like, it's just, I feel bad for people who have like 3 plants and then one of them gets spider mites because it's just this whole thing. And I'm like, at that point, is it worth it to keep the plant? Like,
Do you get people that message you a lot since you started Plant Clinic on YouTube?
after I post a plant clinic video, I get a influx of people messaging me for advice, which like in itself isn't annoying, but I can't get to all of them, so I feel bad. But I mean, I don't spend significant time in my day diagnosing people's plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I see it, if it's at the top of my feed and I feel up for it, I'll answer it. But usually I don't see it actually, and I won't see it until like months later because Instagram message box is really, really badly run. It's so
It
hard to
is.
see your messages. Like I wish it was like email. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so hard to see all your messages. I know that there's really sweet and kind messages that I've completely missed, and I'll see them like 6 months later. I'm like, well, it's weird if I reply now. So
Yeah.
anyway,
So,
yeah, is that all?
Well, I was going to ask, how often do you guys go through and clean your leaves? Because it is, I mean, I know that one of us has a channel called My Clean Leaves, but
Let's call her out.
it is really important. And I'm not the best at this, but it is important to keep the leaves clean as far as like dust and debris. You know, we all live in our homes and see that dust builds up on our shelves like rather quickly. And that same thing is happening on our plants. And that kind of refracts the sun, the sun rays, and refracts light from the plant's leaves to be able to photosynthesize. So it is very important to clean them. But I'm just curious, like, do you guys do it like if you just notice something got really bad, or is that something that's on like a schedule for you?
It's not on my schedule, but I clean my leaves every time I water my plants. So they're usually not getting very dusty. Now my shelves is like a once a month type thing. Just cuz I can't like taking 160 70 plants off of shelves every week I'd be there for hours, you know.
Yeah.
But I try to do it once a month because you're right, like especially I don't know, like if you crack your windows open at any time like dust is going to happen constantly.
Yeah.
And they get like the glass shelves, like you could see it so much on the glass, which is a pet peeve of mine, like I can't stand it, so but yeah, I'll clean them when I water my plants. But like if I'm feeling a little extra or I don't have much to do and I just want to spend time with my plants, I'll find myself actually cleaning them. Like when I water my plants, I'll usually just like run them under the water, like, and that be cleaning it. But like with a towel and like some lemon water or something like that, like to get them shiny, that's not very often.
Yeah, I'd say I'm the same as Nicole, except for my big plants because I'm currently watering all my plants in the sink. I don't have like a bathtub downstairs, so I have not been cleaning my big leaves lately, and I can see a difference.
Yeah.
I need to go through with some lemon water, and do that. But yeah, anytime I water a smaller plant, I water the whole thing. I water the undersides, the actual leaf, and then the soil. I think that's the best way to do it because the plant's already wet, so you might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give them a little bath.
But some plants don't like the leaves to be wet.
Yeah, like your fuzzy alocasia or
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed
violets.
when I had the thrips outbreak, I kind of went like ham on like all of my plants, and my alocasia, so my Ivory Coast and my Frydek, both did not love the neem oil at all. Like, because I did have a neem oil bottle, and I wiped the plant down with like, water and Captain Jack's, and I did all the wiping down, and then I decided just to spray neem oil all over both of them just to make sure that we were good. And oof, they did not love that.
yeah.
And I don't know if it was time of year, what it was, but those ones in particular were not happy.
What did they do to make them like look unhappy?
They started getting the spots that you would imagine like a plant that got like burned by direct sun would get. Like the leaves almost turned
Oh.
they had dark spots on the edges, and then they kind of turned translucent a little bit. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that was just because of the neem oil, but it felt like it was. I don't know. Here's a routine that I'm curious about with you two is when you get a new plant and you bring it home, what's the sitch there?
For me, I'll let it acclimate probably just a few days before I repot it. Unless it's a cactus that I could tell is like from my local nursery where I know that the soil is a really good quality soil, and you know, they take time to talk to you about when the last time they potted the plant, and like you just know, you know. But if we're talking like Home Depot, it's a couple of days. I just want it to acclimate to the temperature of my house, and then I'll repot it, because I don't trust what's in that pot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't. I need my De La Tanks. You know what I mean?
We haven't plugged it this episode yet.
Oh gosh, I know people are probably like, is this just one long De La Tanks advertisement?
No, it's not. We won't talk about it this time.
Becca's sponsoring us to say it. I'm just kidding.
No, I think for me, when I bring in a new plant, I'll put it in a neutral zone in my house. Probably like as similar to the greenhouse as I can. So currently in my sunroom. And I put it like in the middle of the floor where it's not touching anything. And I just leave it there for like a long time. Honestly, I kind of neglect them upon first arrival just because I don't want them to interact with anything else. Because that's like the number one way new pests come in is through new plants.
Yeah.
So, and like you might not see a pest on the plant right now, but it could be in the larva stage. There could be eggs. Like, you know, you let it sit for like 3 days and you're like, all right, it's all good. And then you put it next to another plant, but then those eggs hatch the next day and then you have spider mites or mealybugs or whatever. So I probably leave it in the middle of my floor for like a week or two, like, which is a little bit overkill, but sometimes I just don't, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'll repot it, usually take off all the old soil, repot it, combine it with another plant if I'm doing that sort of thing, but I'll leave it for a long time.
I guess when I bring in a new plant, because Becca, you're right, like that's the number one way you just can introduce pests to your whole collection that you've spent some time curating. But I usually give them like either in the shower or the sink, but usually it's in the shower because I have the detachable head, but I spray them down with like a nice blast of water. What? Because I said detachable head. Oh,
You're
God.
such a teenager.
Let me be young.
But yeah, I usually blast it with some water just to make sure that if there is anything on the leaves or whatever, it'll hopefully go off. And then I usually keep them in a room that I have no plants in. I usually, like, I'm lucky enough to have a spare bathroom, and I have like grow lights that I just clip onto like the shower curtain and just leave them in the tub secluded for like a week. And during that week, I'll also give them a spray with like the Captain Jacks that I use.
So it's not a spare bathroom. It's a plant bathroom.
Yeah, it's a plant bathroom. So that's usually, because there's been many times that I've gotten a plant and out of excitement just like stuck it right with all the other ones, and then I'm like, well, shit, look at where we're at now.
Well, shit.
Yeah. You like look at the pests on the plant and you're like, well, shit, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Screwing. And they're like, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Leslie Jordan is the best. But yeah, no, is that Leslie Jordan?
I don't even know who said it. I just know that it's a thing and I love it.
Yes.
That was like an early TikTok sound.
Yeah, because when quarantine happened, remember back when it was new, a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Leslie, who's this actor, he's this very short. He was in Will and Grace as like the sassy, like side character that was like the enemy of Karen. But I'm probably the only one that remembers that. But he's like this Southern guy that's just, he's sassy. And he did like Instagram lives like for daily during the quarantine. And they were like, seriously, they gave me life. He was so funny, but yeah.
Here, I had no idea what the history of this was. I thought it was just like from something. I thought it was from like a YouTube video of some random old Southern white woman.
No,
like I had no
it's a
idea
man.
what it was.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that way because like kids are, like, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. It's from Parks and Rec. And kids are just being like, oh my gosh, I just found out where this sound was from. Because like it's on TikTok.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the one where it's the guy's like, this is my lady, Leah. I'm going to say that one more time. Leah. this one, dirty girl. Like, you know, where he's like, it's from Surf's Up, where the penguin is like naming off all of his trophies, and he's like, you know, this one, Shaniqua, dirty girl. Anyway, I just made that TikTok, and like I was reading the comments on someone else's TikTok of it, and they're like, I just found out that the sound is from Surf's Up. I thought it was from something else. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen Surf's Up.
oh my God, that movie has been slept on. It is so good.
Is it?
Is it?
I don't think I've seen it either.
It is so good. That's your homework. You
Okay.
two and everyone else, find a way to watch Surf's Up. It's so funny.
Is it a
Okay.
Disney?
Oh my
Is it
gosh.
Disney?
Yeah. It's not Disney, I don't think, right? Because I would have seen
I don't
it.
think it's Disney. It's like different animation.
Maybe Pixar? No.
DreamWorks? I think it's DreamWorks.
DreamWorks. Yeah.
I think it's DreamWorks. Like, it has like similar animation to like Madagascar.
Mm-hmm.
The vibe is very similar, but
Yeah.
okay. Well, I
Okay.
think that pretty much wraps up our epi.
Yay.
Do you guys have any last minute things?
I guess I just wanted to add that, like, you know, it's okay to have a very strict schedule or a completely different schedule than we messaged, than we talked about here today, because everybody's living conditions are different. Everybody's climate's going to be different. Everybody's going to have a different situation. So take what we said with a grain of salt. This isn't like a thing. It's just what we do. Someone actually requested this episode, which I thought was pretty fun to do. And we're going to give you some visuals on this too. You can watch a video on our plant chores over on our YouTube channel. Go watch it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on our YouTube channel live today.
And I do like that you say that, because I was thinking that too. Like, plants don't, in their natural habitat, they don't have a schedule. When it rains, you know. And what works for you and I and Becca may not work for everyone. So these are just things we've established as we've journeyed along. And I'm sure all of us have changed things that we used to do. I mean, we just had that episode about it, but we've probably changed our routines multiple times. So
Yeah.
whatever works for you. I mean, obviously, I'm never telling people to have a watering routine, because that, I think, is the number one way to kill a plant, is just to have a specific day that you water a plant, just because, you know, they may, depending on growing seasons, indoor temperatures, all of that stuff, that drastically changes. So
Yeah, I think that's the most asked question I get on Instagram is, how often do you water such and such? And it's just like, there's so many factors. So I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Whatever works for you, works for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, feel free to take what we're saying and mold it into whatever works for you, and enjoy your plants.
Love them. Hug them. Nope, don't hug them. They don't like that.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening in on this Planty podcast. We love the community that this has built, and you guys are so much fun to chat with on Instagram. So if you have any routines or comments on anything that we talked about today, you can leave that in our post that we posted today. And don't forget to go check out our YouTube video, our brand new YouTube video on our Potted Together YouTube channel. And I think above all, we just want to share with you guys that we are wanting to expand the Potted Together family, and would love for you to share our podcast with anyone who you think enjoys podcasts, plants, and would love to meet us. We'd love to meet you guys and your friends. So yeah, that would be such a big help for us if you would just share about our podcast and your favorite episode. If you post a screenshot to your stories, that would be really cool too, and tag us.
Yeah.
don't forget that tag.
Don't forget that tag so we could repost it.
Yep. All right, you guys. You guys say bye.
We'll see you next
Talking
week.
so much. You guys are just looking at me like.
But you're so pretty.
It's your episode. You're so pretty.
May?
Oh, me? All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. All right?
Bye.
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 Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. From their innovative ceramic materials to sexy automatic divers, from ultra-thin dress watches to solar-powered statement pieces, and everything in between, Movement is making sure you're the good gifter this year for your family, your friends, or for yourself. And now you can take advantage of 30 to 50% off Movement's California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories to get them a gift they'll never forget. With fast, free shipping and returns and amazing bang for your buck, Movement makes for a relaxed shopping experience. And with one-size-fits-all watches, it's an easy, elegant gifting experience too. Shop 30 to 50% off now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.